The light and sound teachings for the new seekers and the new Sheilas here are categorically different than any other teaching in the world. The reason why that is because the light and sound teachings deal with the soul and not the mind. Just in general, you new seekers that are here, you don't have to believe me, but I'm just going to try and condense it. The master path or the light and sound teachings go for the realization of soul, where all other paths deal with the mind. It might be hard to believe, but if you investigate this and study it, you'll find out it's true. All other paths deal with the mind. Your religions are usually right around the navel, sometimes the heart. You have your metaphysical paths that deal with some of the higher chakras up in here. Astral projection deals with the astral mind and the astral body. Scientology can deal with the causal mind and the causal body. All of your philosophies, they usually deal right here in the throat. But all of them, whether religion, philosophy, metaphysics, the occult studies, Hinduism, Buddhism, the Muslims, the Jains, take your pick. They all deal with the mind of man, and they do not deal with the soul. Now, that's a very strong and bold statement, I agree, but nevertheless, it's true, and that is why the light and sound doctrine is so elite and superior to all other paths. It's so elite that we get back to the point that was earlier being made about one's readiness. You must be ready to walk the path out of the lower worlds, or it just can never happen. And a lot of people feel that, that they can just enlist on the path, and I would lovingly like to say that that's not really possible. You have to be ready. You have to be ready. Okay, for your new seekers, just a few quick things. You say, Gary, you're up there talking away, uttering all these great truths, and could you just tell me simply, what is it that Master Path offers? What does the Master Path offer? So I just wrote a few things down. The first thing, the first thing is the truth. The truth. That's the first thing. Where do you think you're going to get truth from? You want the truth. New seekers, the Sheilas, you want the truth. If you don't want this, you shouldn't be in the room. And I've set up this little game here for the new seekers. What is it that the Master Path offers? What can I expect to get? Just be simple and clear with me, Gary. Don't pull any punches. It's kind of funny because it's all things. I mean, what can it give you? Well, I don't know of anything that exists that's not the truth. It's everything. But I've got to play the game. And so where are you going to go to get the truth? And this is just, if you can find a path that offers you the truth, you've scored a bingo. The truth just is not in the lower worlds. That's the long and short of it. But that's been through my own effort and my own travels and my own research. I know that there is no truth in the lower worlds, right here. And someone listening says, Gary, You're crazier than a hoot owl. And I would say, well, I can see why you would feel that way, but I'm not changing my statement. That means that there's no truth in any one of these chakras. There's no truth in the human consciousness. You bet there is no truth. It's all materialism, emotion, desire, reasoning through the mind. There is no truth down here at all. And someone says, well, my parents are truth. No, they're not. They're going to be gone in 10, 20, 30 years. Well, I'm truth. No, you're not. You're going to die shortly after them and be consigned to fire or the ground. Well, my professor that taught me in school's truth. He tells the truth. You get my feel. There's no truth. That's the long and the short of it. But to draw it out a little bit, there's no truth in churches. They can't teach you the truth. It would take me 5 hours to explain to you why that's true. But first of all, they're dealing with the dead letter of the law through Scripture. And second of all, they're trying to be saved through a departed master. Jesus Christ told his followers and those checking him out that he could only help them as long as he was alive. You can't get truth in the church. You can't get truth through the occult. You can't get truth through metaphysics, through religion. So the first thing, what does the Master Path offer? Well, you don't have to believe me, but the truth. And it is such a rare commodity. If you find anyone peddling the truth, listen twice to what he has to say. Okay, what's another thing? A proven means to accomplishment. Now this is really, I'm just going to put down accomplishment, if I can spell it. Now, you hear a lot of occult and metaphysical paths talking about samadhi, nirvikalpa, cosmic consciousness, astral projection, mental travel, things like this. And all of them have their little piece of the cake to offer you, and you can extract 1 or 2 pennies of value if you choose to get involved with those endeavors. But overall, all of the accomplishments listed by metaphysical paths and religions are things that exist in the lower worlds. Like I had one Chela write me from Africa, not a Chela, a seeker. But he wrote me a letter, a real nice chap, but he said, Gary, I want to get on the light and sound path because I want to make a lot of money, and so I can help my friends over here in my small city over in Africa. But I wrote him back and I said, put on the best pair of shoes you have and run as fast as you can away from any light and sound teachings in the world. That was my reply. Why? He wanted to get on the light and sound path so he could get rich and help other people. Well, first of all, you don't get rich. That's not what you're getting on the master path for, to get rich. And you're not getting on the path to help other people. That is so arrogant and vain. It's about you. It's about your emancipation and spirituality. So most paths don't have a real plan for accomplishment, but the Master Path does. It's called Simran, Dhyan, and Bhajan. You can study these on your own time, but it's the means by which you can pull your attention from the body, collect it and concentralize it in the third eye, escape through the Tisra Til, the third eye, the 10th door, take your pick, enter the astral world, and start traveling the cosmic planes all the way up to self-realization right here. Here's spiritual realization, and here's the first stage of God realization. That's called, how are we going to pull it off? It's called the means of accomplishment, and this is what you get on a true light and sound path. Absolutely unheard of in any other path. What's the third thing? Divine assistance. Divine assistance. I better spell that out because that wouldn't be good. Okay. Okay. Divine assistance. Slam dunk. New seekers, I know I'm being almost overbearing with you, but that's the way it is for tonight's new seeker meeting. assistance, the assistance you get on the light and sound teaching, which the master path is. You get the outer master, which it can't be described. The outer master is the lowliest of all, but the help you get from the outer master is just incredible, especially the initiation and explaining the teachings to you so you can begin to grasp what truth really is. You get the outer master. Then this outer master, lo and behold, in your spiritual exercises, once you've developed them, will appear and help you out on the inner, and that's called the radiant master or the inner master. And then you have the spiritual current. These three right there, the outer master, the inner master, and the spiritual current, offer you assistance that no other path has. Irrefutably. And some of you might say, Gary, you're putting light and sound in a very, very special category. At the top. It's so special, loved ones, I can't even adequately give form to it. There aren't words to describe the profundity of just what this path is. Not only that, for my own Chelas and the new seekers, every path known to mankind, where do you think it's come from? It's come from the sound current. The sound current has created everything, purely positive and all good and bad. Whatever it may be, everything has sprung from the sound current. The sound current is all there is. That's what the great Anami used to create all of the worlds. Even John 1:1 says the same. Good old St. John, he was probably the most spiritual of the whole lot. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. And the Word was God, and nothing was made without the Word. So, the assistance that you get from a light and sound teaching, outer master, inner master, sound current, top of the line. And don't look at me and make the judgment. I tell you what, it's a responsibility to be the master, and if I had to grade myself, geez, I don't think you'd want to see it. I'm my worst critic. But it's a huge responsibility. Here I've got to be speaking about this wonderful elite path, and I'm just a humble follower of this path like you are. And I'm awestruck by its beauty and what it does for one and how it can inspire one in the darkest hour. How it can aloft one with just a swoosh of love. How the greatest problems can just evaporate when you're in the bhakti of the master. I mean, and I've got to present this to you, and then naturally you look at me and say, well, geez, he's a product of it, and in one sense I am, but I am such an incomplete representation of the vast beauty of the Shabda done. It's just crazy. It's crazy. That's why Chelas have a hard time, because the master comes and tells them and says, you're me. You're just like me, and I'm just like you. And the Chelas sitting there in their own mind say, I could never be that. Oh, yes, you can. That's why masters come, so they can make you like them. But when I compare myself to the inner master or Sat Paresh or Anami, geez, I mean, it's so much greater than I can represent it. So those of you that are critical of me, give me a break. There's just no way I can. You're going to have to experience it. And if I'm doing an adequate job day by day, you're going to unfold and go within, and in a very steady, manner, you're going to start coming into your own realizations of how just profound and beautiful the Shabda is and what it can do for you. And when that happens, my heart sings, because now I know you're experiencing what I did and what I do. Okay.